Hello friends, welcome back for another part of our walkthrough of Oxygen Not Included Spaced Out. This is the base game, not Spaced Out. This is the second time I've done that. We're not playing Spaced Out, at least not yet. Alright, so let's talk about some stuff that has changed. The most important thing that has changed is my colonists will soon be all the citrus spandex colony. So clearly need to have that. But what's actually happening is I'm getting the rocket area set up like I was talking about in the last video. I just wanted to have like a mid-progress update here just to kind of demonstrate what I'm going to be doing to get this all done. So the first thing that I'm going to do is get ladders that go all the way up and down made out of obsidian. The obsidian is just because the rockets are going to put off a tremendous amount of heat. And this is the highest melting point material that I have, I think. Let me double check this actually, because it's been a little while since I've checked these values. I'm just going to build one out of each, except for the fossil, because I would never want to use fossil for a ladder. Alright, melting point. Way too low, low, low. Decent for ceramic. Yeah, obsidian's definitely the highest still, so just want to make sure I knew what I was talking about real quick. So I have obsidian ladders that are going to go all the way up and down, followed by a big line of tungsten. This is going to be to help to harvest the heat that the rockets put off so that we can turn that back into energy. And then the insulated tile on the outside is going to be made of igneous rock. I'm just going to do this all the way up, except I'm just going to leave some spaces here until I delete all the ladders that are in here. The point of having the ladders in there was first just to dig everything out, and so all the material would fall to the bottom, which I am sweeping over to another area so that they can get integrated into my shipping network. So yeah, my duplicants are busy doing that right now. I am just slowly sweeping this out with my auto sweepers as much as they can, but I don't want to wait if I can just sweep this out manually with my duplicants and there's nothing else to do. In the meantime, I'm just going to be deleting a couple of ladders at a time on each level, like this. And the reason is because our duplicants can reach 2 spaces before they will run out. Another alternative way you could do it that might actually be a little bit better, now that I'm thinking about this, is if I send a duplicant over here and purposefully maroon them, if I do something like this, and try to keep one of them there while this is going on, then you can just get one of them stuck and they could delete the whole line while they were still out there. It requires a little bit of micro, but yeah, now that he's stuck, he won't have anything to do other than destroy this line. So that's another way you could do it. But if you just want to do all of them at once and just kind of check back and forth every once in a while, you could do it that way. Oh, he didn't even destroy all of it, so that didn't even really work. But if you were to micro it correctly, you could do that, but that's why I don't typically do that. This is just an easier and kind of a more passive way to do it. They will come in here and get it done pretty quickly, so you can just kind of delete 2 of them at a time as you go. So yeah. Anyway, that's what's going on with that. So you will want to clear all this stuff out so there's nothing in the flight path of the rocket. The only thing that I will put in the flight path at the very top here is going to be some bunker doors. This is just mostly so my duplicants can walk across here and I can keep the doors open and they won't be hurt by the rockets that are blasting off and landing. We'll get the rest of this all measured out correctly, and we're only going to be able to fit 2 rockets in here at first. But over time, we may expand this out to fit more rockets, only so that we can run more missions at a time to speed up the process. There's not really much of a reason to run that many at a time other than just to go faster. And I'd ideally want to just finish this up as soon as possible because, especially in a walkthrough, there's not going to be much more to do, which is why it's so important that we're all dressed in citrus spandex. That's clearly the whole crux of the run, and if you're not doing that, I don't know how you're ever going to win. But yeah, so that's going to be the plan. I'll just cut here. We'll cut back to when we're ready to fully open this all the way up. I'll probably just do that. We'll let it vent out. We'll build our rocket, and then we will start getting it fueled. Fueling is going to take a little bit. Our first engine is going to be steam. So we might actually want to start that now. Let's just do that now. Our first rocket is going to be a steam engine. You're going to want to put it 2 spaces away from your ladder because the only way you can reach the entry points on these types of rockets in the base game is with a gantry. And if I were to have it built too close, it would damage the gantry as it went out, so we might as well just leave the extra space here. You can also put ladders going over to these spaces just to give your duplicants somewhere to stand while they're building these. You can also delete the ladders afterward if you want to. But yeah, so the spacing on this is going to be about that. My second rocket can just go right next to it like this. So I'll build another line of obsidian all the way up. And yeah, but that'll just be the spacing. While these two are here, I'll start getting them fueled, but I need to get a couple of other things out of the way. So that'll be the plan. The fuel is just going to be from these pumps that I left inside here on purpose. And this is also why I left these aqua tuners in here, so that I would have a huge cache of steam to use as rocket fuel. One of these, I believe, will hold 900 kilograms, which is a lot. So I have just kept all this steam in here just for this purpose. That's why I pumped so much water in here at the beginning of 2, but it's all kind of coming around. If we just hook up our pipes here for steam, we can just do something like this. These will eventually break if there's just steam sitting in there, so you might have to come back and repair this every once in a while. I don't think it's worth venting it, only because this takes so long to fill up, you're probably going to forget, or at least I forget. So yeah, that's going to be the idea with this. So yeah, anyway, so that I just wanted to give kind of like a mid-progress for this. We're going to talk about how many modules you can put on this and how to launch missions and stuff like that. So we'll get there. Just coming up a little bit slowly, and I just wanted to have a little bit of a progress video. So there you go. I'll be back with the next part here in just a bit, and we'll keep going. Alright, a little further along here, let's take a look at what has changed. So I do have one rocket up, but this is mostly just to learn how many of these research modules I can put on our first rockets and still reach a destination with them. In your rocketry selection, the first thing you're going to get access to is this research module. And this is to basically get data banks back, which you'll then use in research right here on your virtual planetarium. So you want to take as many as you possibly can per trip, at least if you want to do things efficiently. So the tuning has changed for this a few times over the years, so I don't know exactly how many I can hold on here right now. So what I will do, if you go to the star map, any rocket where you have an actual module on there that allows it to drive, you'll be able to see some numbers like this. Steam rockets can really only reach these first 2 asteroids. And it looks like we have a weight penalty of about 4,300 kilometers. So I think we can fit a lot more of those modules on here. So what I'm going to try, and just by comparison, let's just put a whole bunch of research modules on this one and see how many we can fit. Let's try, I don't know, let's be greedy and let's try like 8. And while my duplicants build that, we can start on something else as well. So we'll try to get the right height here. Also, we are filled up on steam with these 2 things. Like I mentioned, it does take a lot. 900 kilograms of steam is pretty substantial. If you need to, you can also run some more water in here if you need more steam, but hopefully we shouldn't need too much more. You will note that if they open the door and come in here and do stuff, it will leak steam, but that's not the worst thing ever. And when it does leak, it'll go into this area, but this area is now entirely walled off. So I'm not worried about it ruining anything in my base, which also means we just need to open up this top area as well. So let's do that. We're just going to do the same thing that we've always done to get these things open. Just kind of build ladders like that to get it open. Dig out what you need. I also don't want my duplicants to be crossing over between areas. So I'm going to actually lower these ladders a little bit so that they can't reach up into the next level. So this one will probably only come down to here, and then maybe I could build something up here that's like still a few spaces away, so I might not need to delete all of these. There. And then they can at least reach the top here to open it from the other side, but I'm not going to connect these 2 because I don't want them to be able to come in here and then go out on the other side, because my suits will start to get all piled up in the wrong place, and it can just be annoying. So that's what I want right now. The other thing that we need is this meteor blaster can only reach a little bit more than half of this. And this is part of why we can only really run 2 rockets at a time in this little chamber. And we'll need to add more over here. That's because this space will be taken up by the meteor blaster that you're going to put over on the other side. So let's put another one of those. Go ahead and put some drywall back here. Throw the meteor blaster in, which, oh yeah, I was like, I thought I moved that. Put this there. Put the conveyor loader. And our output for water. Then we'll just need to run the water lines over here. Probably want to build all this out of ceramic because it can handle a pretty good temperature. So once it gets past here, I'll have to switch. Go to ceramic now. And we can just go back to granite or whatever we were using. Oh, I need these to be insulated. They do a little bit better that way. There we go. Same thing with the bottom with our cooling. So I'll just have it run straight through here and then back. And we'll get all this disconnected and rehooked up and stuff. If I need to disconnect it and have it not flow for a little while, then I can just cut it off before it actually gets there. It'll all come down here and might fall into that, but I'm not that worried about it. I just need that to be some sort of water. And then power is the only other thing we need to worry about. So I have run power across here. I'll talk about that in just a second. Let me just complete this really fast. So this is a bunch of bunker doors. This is just so I can have my duplicates run across here without the rocket damaging it. So if the doors are open, the rockets will not hurt it. Anything else that's in the way, though, will get damaged by these rockets when they lift off. So I definitely want to not have them... I need to be kind of careful here. Let me get this row off first. By the way, all this extra oxygen and hydrogen and stuff, we're going to lose it, but I don't really care that much. Like, this was not used space anyway, and it's not like I'm having a hard time making oxygen, so it'd be more work for me to have to just move this back to my main base than to just let it go. So I'm just going to let it go. Anyway, so yeah, we'll get this all set up. Let's take a look at our rockets, actually. So our rocket now just got built. Let's see how far this can go. Oh, let me rename this other one, too, so I know which one I'm looking at. Rocket 2. Rocket 2 can still go further, so that's interesting. All right, let's just keep adding it and see how far we can go. Let's try maybe 2 more. I guess I could probably do some math and see what kind of weight penalty I'm suffering right now, but I don't know the weight of every single module. Yeah, we'll try 2 more. We'll just try to dial it in that way, but I want to have as long as possible so we can get as many databanks as possible, which will mean less missions that we'll have to run. There we go. Now that we're going to get our other meteor blaster, we will need to automatically load it with our conveyor loader, so wolframite it is, because that's going to be the best to resist heat. So wait for the game to load again. There we go. Just kind of run it in there. Then this one, same deal. Just need to return any supplies that we get. Is this running above? Yeah, it is running above. Back to wolframite. Back to gold. There. So they should get all this stuff hooked up, and then this will just start running whenever it's time. As soon as that's all built, I'll start to deconstruct this and get rid of these ladders too. I won't necessarily need to go up this far, so we can move this over like that, just so we can get rid of all this. Oh, also something I don't remember if I mentioned. I did remove all the ladders that were up here, that were there earlier when we were digging everything out. That's just because the meteors will still come down to within a certain proximity of these before they will be targeted. And it might damage your ladders and stuff if you don't move them, so that's why I got rid of them. They weren't really doing anything anyway, so yeah. Let's prioritize this a little bit more so we can open this up all the way. This is probably ready to be opened up. They shouldn't be able to reach up there right now, so we can open that up. And I'm not going to worry too much about this side. It might get hot and a bunch of other stuff. Well, I guess we could just open it up. No real reason not to. And then I'm just gonna... Yeah, I'll still put this here. So there we go. Let's check out our range. Rocket 2 now cannot reach, so let me delete one module. That's the unfortunate thing between the base game and Spaced Out, is you need to delete modules that are on top of ones before you can move it to the other. Duplicants really are going in and out of here a lot. I don't really understand why. What are you doing? Oh, grabbing ceramic. Why is that there? Okay. Alright. Get the rest of this all dug out real quick. Then on this side, we can just not connect here. Like, we'll reach 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Now we can reach everything. Cool. Alright, so we'll be about ready to launch one of these in just a second, once we make sure that the height is correct. The only thing that we're going to need in order to launch this, in terms of extra buildings, is a gantry. You'll need a gantry to be a couple spaces away, otherwise your engine will bump it on the way out and it will damage it. So this is why I have the 2 spaces in between where the rocket's engine is and this ladder on the side. We need this extra space so that it doesn't damage that. The gantries can just be controlled with a signal switch, so I'm just going to throw one here with a with some tungsten. And they also will need to be powered by something, so if we have a means to power them, that'll be good. But the problem is that you might melt it, so this is where we might want to use something like steel, or if you have extra tungsten, you can. I'll just use steel for now, and I can always replace it if I need to. There we go. So I don't quite have enough tungsten. I'm still trying to make some more, but tungsten is a totally finite resource on the map unless you have a tungsten volcano, which again, I don't know if actually exists in this. The other thing is your duplicants will need to run an atmosuit here, and then you will need to assign a pilot. In your skills tree, you'll want to make sure that you have at least one person assigned as pilots. I do have a couple, as you can see there are 2 of them here. Looks like the researcher and the farmer. Sending the farmer to space. We'll send the farmer because the farmer can't build and they go idle a lot, so we'll do that. Then once you have all that stuff done and the top is clear, your duplicant should just jump in there whenever it's time, and you can just launch the rocket, so we're going to do that here. Actually, let me double check to make sure we can get here. Yeah, we can. Okay, just barely. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 modules. There was at one point, I swear this used to just be 5, which is why I started there, so the tuning does change as far as I know, or maybe I'm just misremembering. Alright, just about done with this. I also want to make sure that all this stuff is done before we launch, so let me just tack on one little bit after this. No reason to sit here and watch my duplicants just build stuff and dig it out. So when this is ready, we'll launch and we'll call this video good, so I'll be right back. Okay, we're pretty much ready to launch this thing. It took off the top of our base here, and all the material kind of fell down into this area, which is pretty normal. If my duplicates need to get in here and maintain anything, I could probably just unbuild this vent, build a ladder down, and kind of get in there and do what we need to do, but we shouldn't need to. I think we should be fine. So, now that we have this all set up, both of my rockets are ready. They have pilots assigned here, which for some reason, I don't know why, sometimes they just don't show up. If anybody knows why this happens, let me know, but this is a very annoying problem to have. Like, sometimes even when I tell them to go straight here, they just don't, so I'm not really sure what we need to make this happen, but sometimes you get stuck in the state. Either way, they're assigned to their destinations. So each one of them are just waiting passengers to actually drive the rocket. So as soon as they get there, we'll go ahead and launch these. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on and get them to show up, and then we'll get them launched, I guess, as soon as they come in. But if you have any ideas why this happens, let me know. Oh, never mind. There's Ruby. There they are. Okay, finally. All right, cool. So the first thing we need to do is retract our gantries. If these gantries are out when you start to launch your rocket, it will damage them, and you'll have to effectively pay the cost of replacing them. So, yeah, if you just jump into the star map, you should be able to select either one, I guess. And you can hit the launch mission down here, or you can just do it from the whole list. So if we just go like this, launch, launch, they should both launch at the same time. Yep, and there we go. And these will put off a good amount of heat and a good amount of steam, but, you know, we're reharvesting them all as much as we can. And yeah, there we go. They're off to their destination. This is pretty much where we wait. There is not much more to do in our base right now. Our food's good, our power's good, our water's good. So this is kind of the part where you can go and do some fun stuff. Like we can set up a recreation room, we can decorate our base, we can capture other volcanoes or make some other fun builds or whatnot, but you don't really need many more resources beyond this point. As far as completing the rest of the game, the next research you're going to want to get is this solid fuel combustion, so we can start running petroleum-based rockets. Once you have that, then we can go to these further destinations and we can start getting some other materials. We'll talk about those when it's time, but for right now, yeah, I mean, we're pretty much just in good shape. We're just going to be hanging out, so I'll probably check in when it's time for us to start building those petroleum engines, and after we run a handful of these missions to get materials back for research. So yeah, we'll just go from there. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. Take care.